Oos. Remember when everyone was like, you're sexist if you hate Edelgard but love Arvis? Well, after playing FE4 for the first time this month, get this nigga the fuck out of here. This scary ass nigga. Oh my god, the hit rates! I gotta say, the Twitter liberals were onto something for once. Cause God knows they usually don't be onto shit. This is Nick from Loptis, and I am here to cure your brain rot. There are two main reasons why I think Papadirius is a washed up loser, especially in comparison to Edelgard. For one, he achieved nothing, and a secret point I'll get to later. What do I mean by he achieved nothing? Arvis' whole goal kind of centered on him using Sigurd's death to unify everything he conquered under the Grand Belt Empire in order to save those places from ending up like the US.
Scanning for Mexicans.
Get down! Get down!
We've got a Mexican!
Okay, that's enough horsing around. But did Daddy Arvis do any of that stuff?
No.
Grand Belt Empire turns into your basic third world country. The people are suffering under the tyranny of the Empire, and children are literally getting snatched up out of their homes and sacrificed to dark deities. This is actually eerily similar. I mean, logistically, the only thing he did was have a little mic drop moment on Sigurd. And the only way he was able to kill Sigurd was to make sure he didn't have his legendary weapon and caught him off guard. Sufina is taking notes from my boy Arvis. Also, why did Arvis need 50 niggas to kill Sigurd and his friends? Imagine needing a whole football team for a team that has Stu, Alec, Noish, and Arden on it. The fraud behavior doesn't end there. He didn't even kill everyone. You heard me. Arvis brought 50 wounds and left survivors. Lewin escaped, all the women escaped, and I doubt Justify the Means Chon is pro-life. Not even Trevant is this much of a fraud. He only left Altana alive so that he can control Gable. He is actually on some next level planning shit. Arvis letting the pregnant women escape and not just getting super soldier machine out of it. Arvis is just not a convincing villain from this scene alone. And speaking of Arvis not planning shit well, somehow he still got balled on by Manfroy. Manfroy literally told him what the fuck he was gonna do, and Arvis still had no backup plan to avoid any of this. He even fell for the obvious honeypot scheme. I mean, seriously, y'all, this is a creepy crook-nosed bitch saying that he is going to use your bloodline to revive Loptis. And you know Manfroy will do anything to bring Loptis back. Idiosa. Premium Idiosa. I mean, Manfroy even picked out a girl who appealed to his mommy issues. Are you gonna tap at the barely legal mail order wife that's just your type? That shows up at your door? If you're gonna do that, tell me in the comments below. Please, I need an explanation. Okay? This is just a obvious playbook. You have to admit that Arvis is a fucking idiot. The Loptis church was a powerful asset, sure, so I understand why he used them. Sandima carried the fuck out of Arvis far more than Reptar changed my mind. Only Mickey wife could stop this nigga. But Arvis didn't have the upper hand on the cultists. He didn't have any way to Ono reverse. But my go Edelgard, been there, done that. You ever wonder why Crimson Flowers is the shortest route? Because she took them niggas' heads. It didn't need to be 24 chapters. She had that shit down at 18. She knew exactly what was going on. So she had Flawless figured out from the beginning and knew how to get him up out of here when he was no longer useful. Meanwhile, Arvis got his entire bloodline caught up in foolishness because he fell for the honeypot.
I want you to chop off your fucking dick and never reproduce. I never want to see that shit on any screen in my life again. Just saying.
Speaking of the honeypot, that's my next point, the secret point. Arvis knew more about Deirdre than he was letting on. I know what kind of sick man he is. After reading between the lines, I have finally discovered the truth. Arvis knew that Deirdre had family out there. He knew that was his sister too, but one point at a time. I know my audience may not be privy to how a woman's body works, cause, I mean, why are you here instead of getting laid? But when a woman has a baby, her body is never the same again. My real mom, for instance, on no roleplay, after she had me, she became allergic to oranges. Hormones are wacky as fuck. That's a crazy example, but follow me. The typical changes a woman's body goes through will include the pregnancy titties, as they are colloquially known, when a woman's chest size will inflate with milk. You might even see some lactation, some baby fat. And Seliph was basically just born before Deirdre was kidnapped. So you best believe Deirdre not only had the pregnancy titties, but also the lactation. And Arvis is no spring chicken. He already had a kid at this point. He knows what all of that means. So Arvis saw a woman who clearly had a baby and was still trying to fuck. Not Arvis trying to get with a single mother. Is he that down bad? Arvis is no better than a typical hood nigga. Arvis, you monster. What if little Timmy wanted a mom, but Arvis wanted one more, so who cares? Arvis takes all. I'm just saying, all of us normal people would try to return the poor woman to her original family. Being on demon timing for a mother who was missing her child is diabolical. That shit is mad, nasty, and immoral, but not as much as fucking sister. Yes, we all knew it was coming. But
You're weird.
Arvis didn't know. Stop the cap this instant. I'm gonna tell you everything that Arvis knew and how there is a 0% chance he didn't know. Arvis knows that this woman is the daughter of Kurt. Literally, everyone told him this. Sigurd even knows that his wife is the child of Kurt. Everyone knows this. Arvis knows this. Kurt was basically his dad, you know what I'm saying? Arvis was low-key the closest to Kurt. So Arvis would know that Kurt had a one-itis for his mama. Additionally, you think this random old geezer knows that, but not Arvis, and that's his actual mama. He never read Victor's suicide note, really? Y'all gonna tell me that? Now you know somebody would have let it slip that your daddy killed himself because your mom's a hoe. Somebody would have said that shit. So if we're being realistic here, you don't think it's on bless him, it's you turn 18. It's time to read the suicide note. It's time to really know why your mom left and why your dad killed himself. So you think this dude that was talking to Sigurd, he know everything, but Arvis don't know what actually happened with his mom and dad. I'm just saying, y'all, the logical leaps you have to argue against this, they're a little bit serious. They're a little bit serious. And again, to go back on this, so Arvis, he definitely knows the truth of what happened between Kurt, his mama, and Victor. He knows that shit. He's 27. There ain't no secrets at this point. So he knows that Kurt, and him being so close to Kurt, he knows Kurt don't get no pussy. He knows that he has a one-itis that will put him to shame, okay? And the only known sexual partner of Kurt is Arvis's own mother. And this girl appeared looking exactly like your mom. Sigurd and Deirdre are fucking clones. And she happens to be the daughter of Kurt. She also fits the age of your mother's last appearance. You expect me to believe that the Giga Chad that plans out everything, Arvis, didn't know that was his sister? This motherfucker cursed his bloodline with 100 years of Down syndrome from this blunder, and you expect me to hail him as the true Flame Emperor instead of Adelgard? And what makes this even worse is that Arvis's sister is not even better than Ida. You made incest babies and your sister is not even bad as Ida? Arvis completely downgraded. And you know Ida gonna be bad as hell in this remake. And she was his girl. She was down. What other girl is gonna revel in your evil plans with you? Deirdre wasn't doing that. She'd be like, no babe, stop. Don't do it. When he was gonna kill Sigurd, Ida was there for it, okay? She was laughing while she was betraying Reptor. She accepted all of Arvis's darkness and was going toe-to-toe with Reptor for this man. Deirdre ain't doing that shit for him. She also gave you your first son. If you trying to be an emperor, you need a fire empress, not just the prettiest bitch. You gotta have the baddest bitch, and that's it. It only gets worse once you realize that while Arvis could consent to fucking his sister, Deirdre could not have. So you essentially are molesting Deirdre because she doesn't have informed consent. Because if she knew that this was her brother, she would object, obviously, and be disgusted. Arvis fans can't win here. Either he's a dumbass and not as smart as you guys claim, or he's a Diddy level threat. I don't see how you can love somebody and violate them at the same time. Not only did Arvis not achieve his goals, but he also fumbled with a hot redhead. But I gotta call another victim forward. This video was not just about Arvis, but let's start with a thought experiment. Only people who have hoes and hoeds though. Your girl, your guy, okay? What's their mother's name? Say it out loud or in your head. You see how easy that is? You know who wouldn't be able to do this? Sigurd! Sigurd is literally the sole reason any of this bullshit ever happened in the first place. Imagine you get so close to a woman that you are prepared to fertilize her womb and you do not know her. You don't know her mom's name. You mean to tell me you didn't know her mom's name? Again, I only want non-virgins in my comment section on this point. Usually my channel is inclusive, but my younger, less experienced portion of my audience, you cannot really fathom for real how close you have to be to somebody to genuinely want to marry them and certainly to consider starting a family with them. This was not a pump and dump, so do not give me those comments. I was bouncing on 3 guys and I don't know none of their mom's names. Then what? First off, ew. If you're doing all that bouncing and hopping, you're gonna vacuum the guy out. You are not about to have a baby with these guys. This was a specific effort to start a family and life with Deirdre, and if you're that serious about somebody, that you're going to have a forever tie with them, the name of their mother will inevitably come up. So for Sigurd to not know the name of his child's grandmother, he obviously didn't care about this bitch for real, and he just thought she was pretty. Not gonna lie, people are always like, I love Sigurd, he loves his wife. I love how much he loves his wife. He loved his blow up doll, don't get it twisted. Cause if you love somebody, you know something about them, where they came from, their history and past. He had almost 3 years to learn this woman and her mama never came up. What the fuck were y'all niggas even talking about? I'm surprised Self does not have any other siblings, cause I know what they was getting up to. They wasn't talking at all. If Sigurd knew Deirdre's mother's name, we could have avoided all this tragedy in FE4. Cause this is what would have happened in Valhalla. Hey Sigurd, I'm gonna publicly execute you now. Feast upon my hot wife. Arvis, that's your sister, you sick bastard! Shit, how does he know? After that, Arvis would lose all of his power and aura because he could no longer compel 50 guys to murder innocent women and children. But of course, Sigurd doesn't even understand the true horror of what he is seeing because he never asked his girlfriend about his mother's name. He knew the mother of Arvis was Sigyun because the old nigga told him the whole story about Victor's suicide. Also, the old man in chapter 1 told Sigurd that he would call a great disaster if he messed with Deirdre. But the 17-year-old was simply too bad for him to resist. Sigurd, in my opinion, while not as bad as Arvis, he definitely made some awful decisions that reflect poorly on his character as not just a boyfriend, but also a human being, not gonna lie. That does it for my interpretation on how the egos of 2 men brought Yggdrasil to her knees, begging for Daddy Arvis and Sigurd to stop fucking them with their terrible decisions and lack of self-control. I genuinely don't really know why people like these guys, cause they're both pretty irresponsible and foolish, and in my opinion, objectified Deirdre, didn't know her mom's name, didn't let her consent to an incestuous relationship. If I wasn't supposed to get this kind of message out of FE4, then yeah, the story is ass and needs a facelift. This is barely reading between the lines. There is no other explanation for the plot contrivances I called attention to in this video. Sure, I'm sure it was not Kaga's intention that Sigurd treats Deirdre like a trophy wife or Arvis to be an insect freak. Well, I don't know. That was probably intentional if we're being honest. But that's how it all comes across. My good friend Deep Freeze will try to tell you that FE4 does not need a remake and that it's fine as it is. No! A sane reading of the text creates 2 pretty unlikable leads, and yeah, that's not good. Remake that shit right now. If you want a tiny list of what else I would change in FE4, please subscribe. I cover world building and stuff like that, and I have more 3 houses and engage videos. I don't know what I was saying in the script, but bye bye. I'll see you guys later, or something like that. Yeah.